Graham Potter, the manager of West Ham United Football Club, quite possibly the worst kept secret in football over the course of the last 48 hours, let's be honest. But I guess the big question is really, what has he let himself in for? And also, what's really going to be in store for him, certainly for the second part of this season and beyond that, if he does well, which we all hope that he will do. Now, I'm going to be the first person to say I wasn't overly excited initially about Potter's appointment. I think I mentioned this the other day on one of the lives and the videos that we've recorded before. I said I was pleased. And in all honesty, I am pleased. Of course I'm pleased. It means that Lopetegui is no longer manager of the football club, which for me is massively important, right? Could have been pretty much anyone taken over other than Lopetegui and I would have been happy. I said I was pleased about Potter, but I'm going to put it out there. My opinions have changed a little bit. Am I pleased? Absolutely. But I'm going to actually say now, I'm pretty excited about his appointment. I really am. I'm not easily swayed, by the way, but I've got a really good feeling about Potter. And I think actually as a fan base, we all should be pretty excited about what is in store for us moving forward. Now, I did watch the press conference today on Sky Sports, where there was a number of media outlets there. And I guess off the back of that, I was kind of questioning myself, what have I and what have we learned from this press conference that he had with the media today? And there's quite a few things, and he did highlight some key points that really, really kind of hit home with regards to how I've been feeling as a supporter, and I'm sure collectively how we've all been feeling as supporters as well. He spoke about collaboration. I think that's something that's clearly been lacking and just has not been apparent within the team, the club whatsoever since Lopetegui took over. Really important. He also mentioned that he understood the expectations and the demands of the club, and also, of course, the supporters, us. Hopefully that is indeed the case, because our expectations, let's be honest about this, we do not have we have aspirations, but we don't expect to be in Europe. We don't expect to be winning trophies year on year, year in, year out. But what we do expect is a level of performance. We expect to be entertained, and that's something that's clearly been lacking. I think Potter gets that. I really hope he does. It sounds as if he does as well, based on the press conference that he had today. He did mention about finding the right balance in the team. I mean, that's clearly obvious, I've got to say, because if you look at West Ham, even as a supporter or even objectively, you can see that there is no balance in our team whatsoever right now. It's completely and utterly chaotic. From our midfield, attack, defence, it's all over the place. We've got a dysfunctional midfield. We all know about that. Our defence is leaking goals. It's basically conceding way too many chances. And from an attacking perspective, we look pretty toothless up front as well. So that was good to hear that he's also highlighted that. In addition, he's also said that he wants to build a team that the supporters are proud of and enjoy watching. Well, you're damn right, because I'll tell you what, being a season ticket holder and going to a hell of a lot of games, we all know that turning up to that Goldfish Bowl, it has not been enjoyable watching West Ham whatsoever this season. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of brand of football Potter will bring to West Ham. Okay, I'm not expecting it to change overnight, but I like what he's saying. In addition, he's also mentioned about gaining more trust between the players and the supporters and ensuring that everyone is going to be aligned. We haven't had that, let's be honest. I've said it many, many times this season. There seems to be a huge detachment with regards to the players, the fans, and the club. I really wish that we could go back to the days of the 90s where there seemed to be much more of a family-oriented feel. And funnily enough, that's one thing that Potter also mentioned, was he does see this as a family club. And I really think that we need to get that family feel back into the club and get rid of all of those divides that we've had in recent months. And you could say also over the course of the last year and a half, particularly when there was the whole Moyes in, Moyes out saga, and also this season with regards to the Lopetegui situation. So I'm really hoping we can bring that kind of family feel back into the club again. One thing also that really did excite me was he mentioned how we could best utilize the resources that we currently have at the club right now. In particular, he did also highlight the academy. Now, as West Ham fans, we all know that for us is to some extent the lifeblood of the club, right? We've always loved it when a young player comes through. Over the years, the likes of the Tony Cotties, the Steve Pottses of this world, there's been many, Declan Rice, Mark Noble, Carrick, Cole, and so on. There's many, many that we could talk about. But the importance of the academy is significant for us because I do feel, and I think we all feel, that there are some really good players within our academy right now. You look at Freddie Potts over at Portsmouth, who at this moment in time is probably exactly what we need in our midfield. You look at the likes of Scholes, you look at the likes of Casey in defence. Defensively, we've been awful. You know, you look at maybe Earthy. Don't think he's been getting as much game time as he would have liked to at Bristol, but these kids are hot prospects. These are probably some of the best prospects we've had at the club for a long, long time. So hearing Graham Potter talking about our academy as well definitely makes me excited. I'm really hoping that he can integrate some of those youth players into our squad, and hopefully a little bit later into our team, because that would certainly make a lot of fans very happy, right? So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited about Potter now. Funnily enough, a lot of people have been saying for a long time now that Potter doesn't have much of a personality. But I've got to say, from what I saw today, I don't think that could be further from the truth, actually. Maybe he might have come across a little bit dull, perhaps in years gone by. But from what I saw in that press conference today, he looked really energised, actually. Now, that might be as a result of him being, out of the game for 2 years. And I couldn't believe it's 2 years since he left Chelsea. But he showed like a real zest and, real enthusiasm for this particular job, being the manager of West Ham United. And I also think that he feels that he's genuinely got something to prove now, okay? He's got a great track record. He has got a very good track record. If you look back 7 years, I think, in the Swedish League, essentially bringing a team from the 4th tier to the top tier and getting into the Champions League, it's pretty significant. But even what he did at Brighton was very, very impressive as well. It's really only at Chelsea where it went wrong for him. So, as I said before, we can't judge the guy just on that, just on that stint with Chelsea. So, going back to my questions that I raised at the beginning of this video, what is in store for, for Potter? How's he going to kind of, combat and challenge these challenges that he has in front of him? Well, first off, he needs to work out who really is going to be committed to West Ham for this season. Okay, so I'm talking beyond the January transfer window. He really needs to figure that one out. Does it mean the likes of Kudus won't be here? Does it mean the likes of Paqueta or Rodriguez will want to leave? Okay, I think we need to let people go. And I'm sure this is something that Gary and I will discuss on our next live show. So I don't really want to focus too much on transfers on this particular video that I'm recording now. But he definitely needs to figure out who's committed to West Ham, because the way I've seen it, and I'm sure the way collectively we've seen it, there's been a lack of commitment across the board. Collectively, there's been a lack of commitment. You've seen certain players that have been committed, but you've been seeing some that really aren't. They're walking around the pitch like they don't really, really care. I think defensively, he needs to find the right formula to stop conceding goals and stop conceding these chances. Does it mean that he's going to play a deeper line? I think he probably kind of needs to, if I'm being honest with you, because that in itself, when you look under Lopetegui playing such a high line with the inverted fullbacks, it's created untold problems for us this season. So I think defensively, he needs to figure that one out. He needs to find the right formula. He also needs to get the best players playing in their best positions, i.e. Kudus, Paqueta, those types of players. He really needs to get them back to their full pomp, because we have not seen that this season. It's been a while, particularly actually with regards to Paqueta and Kudus. Really want to see them at their full flow if they are wanting and they do stay beyond the January transfer window, which I hope they do, because we know there are really good players, in there with Paqueta and Kudus. I think we're resigned to the fact that they'll probably go, whether it's going to be January, but I hope it's going to be in the summer. And I really hope that if they stay, we can get them back to the levels that we know they can play at. With regards to our midfield, he needs to figure that one out. He needs to find a solution to the whole dysfunctional midfield situation that we've got right now. And perhaps, again, briefly touching upon the whole January transfer window, that is going to be massively important, because we need legs in there. Ideally, I want to see Potsy come back to West Ham. I think we really need to look at bringing him back. But in addition, maybe we could look at the likes of Joby Bellingham, who at Sunderland is doing a fantastic job right now. He could be a really good option for us as well. And I'm sure there's plenty of other targets that Potter will already have his eyes on. And I think last but not least, and by the way, there's going to be a lot more things actually that he's going to need to figure out. But I think from an attacking point of view, he really needs to look at how he can best utilise what we have at our disposal, at his disposal right now, is pretty limited. Let's be honest. We've got Füllkrug, we've got Danny Ings. We know Jared Bowen is out. He's going to have to figure out the best way of getting the best out of Füllkrug, right? He really is, because so far we haven't in the games that we've played him in. He's looked better in recent times, but I know there's going to be a lot more that hopefully he can bring if we play to his strengths, which we haven't. So I think, to kind of summarize, whatever way you look at it, this is a massive job, massive, massive job for Graham Potter. It's not going to change overnight, okay? I know that, you know that, but long term, I think this could be a really good appointment for West Ham. We're talking about a British manager, a manager that understands the Premier League, someone that can actually communicate. I think we're talking also about a guy that is energized, fully energized after a 2-year stint out of the game, and someone that really wants to utilize all of the resources that he has at his disposal. And there is a lot at his disposal that, frankly speaking, Lopetegui did not use. He's bringing in the likes of, I think, Bruno Salvatore, who's his assistant head coach. He's also bringing in Billy Reid as well. I think Bruno is quite a flamboyant character, shows a lot of passion on the touchline. I really want to see that passion back at West Ham again. I want to see a team that is well drilled, a team that is going to really work hard. Okay, not just a team, not just maybe 3 or 4 players that turn up every game. I want to see 11 players that when they cross that white line, they are going to give it their absolute all. And let's all hope that Graham Potter is going to be the man that can do that. I'm feeling really confident about this. I think you should too. Let's get behind him. Come on, you Irons.